SCP-4020. It won't stop screaming. This SCP opens up with a warning. Warning: Security Clearance Level 4 required. The security clearance required to access this document has recently been upgraded. If you formerly viewed this material and now are unable to, please contact ess@foundation.scp immediately. Failure to do so will result in disciplinary action. Your visit to this page has already been logged. Attempting to access beyond this point without proper clearance is grounds for immediate termination of employment. So with that, let's get into the rest of the document. 4020's object class is Euclid, meaning 4020 is insufficiently understood or inherently unpredictable. In an attempt to simulate 4020's memory and promote its rehabilitation, it is henceforth to be contained within a fortified reproduction of Dr. LaCroix's current apartment. This has been constructed on sublevel 33 of Site 17 at the request of Dr. Palomi. The facsimile has been copied as faithfully as possible with the following alterations. All furniture has been bolted or otherwise bonded to the floor. Small spaces that might have allowed for 4020 to resist security personnel, such as the underside of the bed, have been filled in. Interior doors have been reinforced and equipped with remotely accessible electronic locks to allow 4020 to be isolated when necessary. The mail slot has been sealed shut since the front door is one of two main access points for Foundation staff, the other being the bedroom cupboard. Windows have been imitated by playing looped video footage of the view from Dr. LaCroix's apartment. In the event that 4020 regains the capacity to write, wall-mounted electronic whiteboards have been installed in all rooms. Soundproofing has also been installed at the request of attending staff. 4020's capacity to ingest nutrition is currently undergoing testing. It is to be administered with various samples under the supervision of the investigating researchers. Feeding timetables will also be made available to relevant personnel on a day-to-day basis. 4020 is to be attended for 3 hours each day by a therapist trained in dealing with extreme trauma and speech and language rehabilitation. It may also be played music and television programs at the discretion of Dr. Scale. When 4020 is not being attended by a researcher, it should be monitored at all times by at least one level 3 or above staff member via video and audio surveillance. Any noteworthy changes of behavior or suggestions of coherent language are to be reported to the senior investigative researcher immediately. However, it is mandated that no staff members assigned to Site-41 or those who have any personal or professional link to staff members of Site-41 are to be permitted access to 4020. To minimize the risk of this, it is recommended that only a select group of staff are allocated to 4020's study and care. 4020 is a blonde-haired male Caucasian human with a thick, wiry beard. It is approximately 1.8 meters in height, and its physical age appears to be between 35 and 45. All areas of its skin display heavy scarring from what looks to be numerous small cuts. Despite this, 4020's body is currently impervious to almost any forms of damage. Evidence from the site of its recovery suggests that while it is susceptible to high pressure, its bones and organs cannot be harmed by it. Its flesh cannot be pierced or cut by objects of any sharpness, although it still registers pain when attempts have been made to do so. Its hair and nails also retain the damage-resistant properties and cannot be removed from its person. Since entering containment, 4020 has not lost a single hair by natural means. 4020 does not show any signs of aging or other physical alterations. Its hair and nails do not grow. It has so far displayed no capacity for sleep or for losing consciousness. All attempts to chemically alter its condition with sedatives, painkillers, and mood enhancers have proven ineffective. It does not require and indeed seems unable to digest any foodstuffs. It will consume any presented to it with an appearance of great hunger, but will then expel them orally within a few minutes. It has also been observed attempting to eat paper and wooden pencils with the same result. As such, it does not produce any other waste. Update on a redacted date. It has been advanced by Dr. McKinley that 4020's inability to retain nourishment may be a result of its prolonged absence from feeding rather than a physical condition. This possibility is being explored. It also does not require oxygen to survive, though it shows great discomfort when none is presented. 4020 is believed to have spent approximately 4 million years buried underground in total isolation and in considerable pain. As a result, it is extremely psychologically damaged. Since its recovery, it has spent nearly every moment screaming. The presence or absence of other individuals does not affect its behavior. It has not shown itself to be particularly aggressive to staff members within its vicinity, but will attempt to bite, scratch, and beat any who try to touch it. At present, it appears to be unable to comprehend any form of communication. It will occasionally stamp or repeatedly strike its palms on the ground as if it were trying to crush something. It is also prone to violent fits, which it experiences at irregular intervals, often accompanied with attempts to hide itself and to pull its own hair out. In the immediate aftermath of its recovery and containment, it was observed attempting to push its thumbs into its own eye sockets without any success. This behavior has since been ceased. DNA recovery from the saliva of 4020 is an exact match for one Dr. Terence Arthur LaCroix, a Foundation researcher currently assigned to Site 41. Their facial features also have been matched with a 96.6% accuracy. It is theorized, though as of yet unproven, that 4020 is a future incarnation of Dr. LaCroix that has been transported backwards through time. As such, Dr. LaCroix is to be considered SCP 4020-0. On a redacted date, routine keyword monitoring picked up the following search request from a civilian computer in a redacted location. SCP Class K 2021 41 Foundation Holes. Upon investigation, the culprit was found to be entirely uninformed about the nature or existence of the Foundation, and revealed that he had seen the words written on a cave wall within an unnamed cave system in a redacted location. After detailing its location, he was administered with Class B amnestics, and a standard field unit was dispatched to explore the site. They discovered what appeared to be a crude attempt at an SCP document painted in modern English some distance beyond the mouth of the cave. Subsequent analysis of the cave wall and the paint substance itself, however, indicated that the writing dated from before 4 million BC. This is believed to have been produced by 4020 preceding its burial, and is subsequently designated 4020-A. A transcript is given below, and I will be reading the transcript verbatim. SCP 488049015ZZ9Z5A. Class K. Containment. Pour water in and run away or set fire on entrance. Description: like spider, flies come from holes everywhere. Spit hurts. Sharp tails. Stabbing does not kill. Burn. Keep fire outside at night. If they do not stop, I will go mad. The holes are getting bigger. I cannot remember anymore. I must remember 2021. Boom goes 41 again. 05, do nothing. Foundation founded, redacted date. But also, redacted date, remember. Underneath this transcript, there is a comment from Dr. Helen Carter to a redacted person. The SCP listed above is not attributed to any entity currently classified by the Foundation, and given current SCP designation protocols, it is unlikely to ever be. Likewise, there is no record of creatures which resemble 4020's rather sparse description, although species of arachnids are known to have been present on Earth 4 million years ago. It is unclear if the sequence of numbers and letters used by 4020 held any particular meaning for it, or if it was simply just gibberish. Certainly, the content of 4020-A suggests that the degradation of 4020's mental faculties had begun before its prolonged entrapment. At this point, it is impossible to tell just how long 4020 has existed or how reliable any of its information may be. Repairing its mind would seem unlikely, if not impossible, and is not recommended as high priority. Boom Goes 41 again seems most likely to refer to Site 41, given that 4020-0 is currently stationed there. But as far as warnings go, this is frustratingly vague. No additional security is recommended for this facility. Some redacted information, and then inspection of the substance of 4020-A shows it to be primarily composed of assorted animal fats and charcoal pigment, a recipe common for cave paintings, although of course none date back as far as this. However, it also contains an as of yet unidentified hydrocarbon, which appears to be man-made in nature, and has increased 4020-A's resistance to moisture and fading. Further testing is scheduled. During routine examination of the area surrounding 4020-A, ground-penetrating electroradars registered an unusual object approximately 18 meters beneath the segment of the cave system. It displayed an extremely faint heat signature and was found to produce weak, irregular vibrations. A subsequent evacuation of the area unearthed the body of an extremely pale humanoid now designated SCP-4020. Its legs and lower torso were pinned down by a number of extremely large rocks, while the rest of its body had been buried under smaller rock fragments and soil. Several of the rocks covering its lower body were found to have grooves in them consistent with 4020's fingernails. It is theorized that after its lower body became incapacitated, 4020 was gradually subsumed by earth and debris washed into the cave by rainwater. Dating of the material surrounding it has not been conclusive, but appears consistent with the age of 4020-A. As soon as its mouth was uncovered, 4020 began to scream. Upon its extraction, it immediately endeavored to escape and struck out at the agents holding it. An agent attempted to administer a sedative via a syringe, but was unable to insert the needle into 4020's skin. An oral sedative was then forcibly administered, but did nothing to alter its behavior, and was quickly vomited up along with a small amount of stomach acid. 4020 was ultimately tied up for transportation. The discovery site of 4020-A and 4020 appeared largely unknown and unfrequented, and the cave system is only viably accessible by rope. In accordance with the prognosis protocol, the O5 Council were alerted to the discovery of 4020 and 4020-A. By a vote of 9-2 and 2 abstaining, it was decided that Dr. LaCroix should not be informed about the nature of 4020, and the appropriate safeguards should be undertaken to prevent anyone who might recognize Dr. LaCroix from interacting with 4020. Further investigations were designated Priority Level 4 and placed under the purview of Senior Researcher Redacted. 2 researchers stationed at Site 41, Dr. Norton and Dr. Pale, were approached with regard to monitoring Dr. LaCroix. Dr. Norton was selected due to his similar age and field of specialization, and Dr. Pale due to his comprehensive seniority. Both agreed to befriend Dr. LaCroix and report regularly on his activities. Neither have been informed of the purpose of this observation. Dr. LaCroix's personal and office phone have been bugged, and his emails are being monitored. Some experiments are listed below. Purpose: to ascertain whether the alterations made to 4020-0 result in a change to 4020, and also thereby demonstrate whether 4020 is indeed the future version of 4020-0. Methodology: Redacted requested a full report on 4020's extensive scarring in order to identify clear patches of skin. On the evening of redacted date, 4020-0 was seated with an assistant of Dr. Pale and transported to a Foundation medical facility. Under the instruction of redacted, an incision was made on the back of 4020-0's neck in order to create a small straight scar. 4020 was later returned to his apartment. Outcome: the operative tasked with looking at 4020's neck for the scar insisted that there was no need to, since he had already seen it on multiple occasions before. He also stated quite correctly that the mark had also been logged in the report sent to Redacted. When questioned, the doctor discovered that he had lost the third page of the document, which had included the reference to the scar. Experiment 4020-02. Purpose: to repeat experiment 4020-01 without external error. Method: 4020-0 was again seated on the night of redacted day after accepting Dr. Pale's invitation to a bar. After being transported to a Foundation medical facility, the attending surgeon was then instructed to make a curved incision on the back of 4020-0's left upper arm. He was then provided with a photograph of the area on 4020's body to indicate where to cut. Outcome: examination of 4020's left upper arm revealed no such mark. However, it was shortly discovered that confusion on the part of the surgeon had resulted in an incision being made on the right upper arm instead. The mark was present on 4020 and had already been logged. Further experiments of this nature have been put on hold indefinitely. Addendum 1. Discovery of 4020-B. 9 days after the discovery of 4020, a second piece of writing, painted with identical substance, was found in a distant part of the same cave system. As with the site of 4020's recovery, the area has been filled with earth and rock fragments. Rather than a single block text, multiple sentences and sentence fragments, collectively designated 4020-B, were separated across cave walls at irregular angles. The transcripts are given below with no particular order. Due to age-related degradation of the rock upon which SCP 4020-B is painted, a considerable amount of text has been obstructed. I will be reading this transcript verbatim. Don't forget the. Everyone orange rays refresh tangy. On the other, the day of Chris, seed of game sun stole. 5 weeks, 5 days, but it did. Gave 41 leaks. They're all going to suffer. We are a mistake. How many 41s? G, T, Dat, John and Alice. Nick Norton plus Kesat R9. Data expunged. Is a bad man. Data expunged. Is dead then good. All fall of the ground They know and do nothing. Data expunged. Does not work the way ink does it. Data expunged. Will fail. We shouldn't be ear the end of Dayton. Threat to Institute is too high. Tell them Foundation must give up. We are wrong. Data expunged. At the end of this transcript, there is another comment from Dr. Helen Carter to expunged. This isn't what either of us wanted to read today, but it needs to be taken care of as quickly and as quietly as possible. Obviously, 4020-B constitutes a major security breach. Goodness knows how 4020-0 found out about, or finds out about, data expunged. But the references appear to be accurate. If there is any kind of leaking going on, it is to be plugged, and fast. If data expunged is genuinely going to fail, then it is essential we know about it as soon as possible, and have a viable backup ready. However, it must be emphasized that we should not automatically be taking 4020's word as gospel just because he can repeat a few names. His writing seems quite unstable. Moreover, it appears that for whatever reason 4020 developed some resentment for the Foundation itself. If there's a chance that this information was meant to be found, then it may not have been designed to help us. If 41 does refer to Site-41, then 41 leaks could be an indication of where 4020-1 gets his information. How many 41s is less clear. Official Foundation records state that there has only ever been one Foundation Site-41. However, a number of internal documents contain various pieces of contradictory information about this facility, and it may be subject to intentional misinformation by RAISA. Unfortunately, the rest of 4020-B is not particularly useful right now, though more may become more apparent in time. In any case, if there is any chance at all of repairing 4020's mind enough to get some semblance of sense out of it, we need to pursue it. Alice and John LaCroix are 4020-0's parents and likely have nothing to do with Foundation matters, but it may be worth monitoring any contact he has with them. The mention of Dr. Newton is unclear but potentially concerning. It is recommended that he continues to monitor SCP 4020-0, but that Dr. Pale is requested to report on the activities of both. If there is any danger of Dr. Newton's observations being detected or compromised, he can always be moved. M. Cassette is presently unknown to the Foundation. Individuals with that surname are currently being cataloged and assessed. Data expunged are also not listed in Foundation records. However, any further investigation into their identities has been prohibited by Order of 05-expunged. This is where the comment ends, and we're going to go back to the article. Following the discovery of 4020-B, security clearance to interact with 4020 has been increased to Level 3 security clearance. To know the nature of 4020 has been increased to 4/4020 due to the sensitivity of the information it may be able to convey. As a result, the staff members who discovered 4020-A and 4020-B have been now amnesticized. The importance of restoring 4020's mind has been updated to Priority Level 1. Dr. Scales' request to attempt music therapy has been approved. Dr. Palomi's request to rehouse 4020 in surroundings familiar to 4020-0 has been approved.